What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute since my last upload, and that's because the past few weeks have been, well, they've been something else. As you might know, I recently moved into a new apartment. It's in one of those old, pre-war buildings, with tons of character, high ceilings, original hardwood floors. You know the vibe. I was so excited to finally have a place of my own in the city. The first few days were great. I was unpacking, arranging furniture, and just soaking it all in. But then, I started noticing strange things. Little things at first. A cold spot in the hallway that never seemed to warm up, no matter how high I cranked the heat. Sometimes, I'd hear faint scratching sounds from inside the walls, but I just brushed it off as mice or the building settling. I probably should have paid more attention. The real weirdness started with the floor plan. When I did the virtual tour, the agent sent me a blueprint of the apartment. It was a simple one-bedroom layout, but as I was living in the space, something felt off. The living room wall, the one that backs onto the main hallway, seemed way too thick. I measured it one night out of curiosity. The hallway outside my door was a standard 5 feet wide. Inside, my living room was 15 feet wide. But the building's exterior wall to the opposite apartment's wall was a solid 25 feet. That left a 5-foot gap. 5 feet of unaccounted for space, right in the middle of my apartment. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was hidden behind that wall, so I started knocking. Most of the wall sounded solid, a dull thud. But then, right behind where I'd put my bookshelf, the sound changed. It was hollow. My heart started pounding. This was it. I slowly moved to the heavy bookshelf, scraping it against the floor, my mind racing with possibilities. A forgotten storage closet. A weird structural quirk. Behind the shelf, the wall looked seamless, just old plaster and a few layers of paint. I pressed my ear against it, listening, and that's when I heard it again, the scratching. Only this time, it wasn't frantic like a mouse. It was slow, rhythmic, a soft, dragging sound, and underneath it, another sound, a faint, pulsing hum. It was a low, deep thrum, almost like a heartbeat. I felt a chill run down my spine that had nothing to do with the cold spot in the hole. My curiosity completely overrode my fear. I went to my toolbox and grabbed a hammer and a chisel. My hands were shaken, but I had to know what was back there. I started chipping away at the plaster right over the hollow spot. It crumbled easily, like it was ancient. Dust filled the air, smelling of damp earth and something else. Something metallic and vaguely sweet. After a few minutes of work, my chisel broke through into empty space. I cleared away the debris and peered into the darkness. A wave of musty, stagnant air washed over me. I shone my phone's flashlight into the opening, and my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't a closet. It was our room. A small, windowless chamber, about 5 feet by 10. The walls were bare, dark stone, slick with some kind of moisture. And in the center of the floor, there was a single, rusted iron ring bolted into the concrete. I made the hole big enough to squeeze through. I know, stupid idea, right? But I couldn't stop myself. I crawled into the hidden room, the flashlight beam dancing around the oppressive darkness. The air was thick and heavy, making it hard to breathe. The pulsing sound was louder in here, vibrating through the floor, through the soles of my shoes. It felt alive. I ran my hand along the wall. It wasn't stone. It was covered in something yielding and slightly soft, almost like leather. And it was warm. I snatched my hand back as if I'd been burned. I swept my flashlight back across the wall, and that's when I saw the movement. The surface of the walls. It was slowly, rhythmically expanding and contracting. Just a fraction of an inch, but it was unmistakable, like the gentle rise and fall of a chest. The walls were breathing. I stumbled backward, my heart hammering against my ribs. This wasn't a room. This was inside something. The scratching sound started again, this time coming from directly above me. I pointed my light at the ceiling. Carved into the surface were strange, swirling patterns and symbols I didn't recognize. They looked ancient, almost runic, and as I watched, a thin crack appeared in the plaster, and a dark, thick liquid started to slowly ooze out, tracing the lines of the carvings. It dripped down, landing on the floor with a soft sizzle. I was frozen in place, watching this grotesque spectacle unfold. The pulsing grew stronger, the air grew colder, and the sweet metallic smell was now overwhelming. I felt a primal fear I've never known before, a feeling that I had trespassed somewhere I was never meant to be. This apartment wasn't just old, it was occupied by something ancient and unknowable. I scrambled back out through the hole, not caring about the plaster scraping my back. I didn't stop until I was on the other side of my living room, my back pressed against the opposite wall. I stood there, panting, staring at the dark opening. The pulsing from within seemed to mock me. I had to get out. I grabbed my keys, my phone, and bolted from the apartment, not even bothering to lock the door behind me. I spent that night in a hotel, replaying the events over and over in my head. The breathing walls, the strange liquid, the feeling of being inside some giant, living creature. What had I stumbled upon? Was it connected to the building's history? I did some frantic late-night research on the building's past, and what I found was disturbing. There were old newspaper clippings about tenants disappearing in the early 20th century, and rumors of strange rituals being performed on the property before the building was even constructed. The next day, I went back, but only to pack my essentials. I called my landlord and told him I was breaking the lease due to a severe mold problem. It was the most believable excuse I could think of. I couldn't exactly tell him that his building was alive, could I? I shoved the bookshelf back in front of the hole, hoping to seal away the nightmare I'd uncovered. As I was leaving for the last time, I paused at the door and listened. Through the thick silence of the apartment, I could still hear it. A faint, steady, rhythmic pulsing. Thump thump. Thump thump. A heartbeat in the heart of the building. I didn't look back. I've been staying with a friend ever since, trying to process what happened. I still have nightmares about that room, about the feeling of those breathing walls against my skin. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd stayed. Would the scratching have gotten louder? Would that crack in the ceiling have spread? What was that? Dark liquid. I have so many questions, but I know, deep down, that I don't want the answers. I just want to forget. But I also feel like I have to warn people. So, if you're ever apartment hunting and a place seems too good to be true, maybe take a moment. Knock on the walls, measure the floor plan. And if you hear a heartbeat where there shouldn't be one, run. Thank you for listening to my story. It felt important to share it, to get it out there. This experience has definitely changed me. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced anything unexplainable in your own homes. I'd be interested to know I'm not alone. Stay safe out there. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.